Welcome back to the HFX Games YouTube channel. I'm Travis, and today we got a Foundations pre-release sealed pool build. So we got a pre-release kit here. We're going to crack open, and we are going to build a 40 card sealed deck out of whatever we got here. So I'm just going to take you through my steps and kind of how I look at building sealed pools. Might not be perfect, but good enough. I do a lot of building around rares, so we'll probably do something close to that. We're gonna see what we got here for our foil promo. We got Blasphemous Edict. So I'll go over a couple of the cards, maybe some of the ones I'm not quite familiar with yet, but it's mostly just going to be walking through the steps of how I like to try and build a functioning deck. So the first thing I do, first things first, we got an arena code here. First come, first serve. Whoever types that in the fastest, you get it. Alright, so I like to sort my cards by color first. So put that in the black section. Open up our first pack. Try and take a look at some of these while I'm going. Oh, Tolarian Terror's back. That card's sweet. So this set is going to have a lot of reprints. It's a lot like a core set, which is just really good for building collections too. So our first rare, we got Crystal Barricade. You've hexproof. Prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to other creatures you control. Interesting. Okay. Then we got a foil Arbiter of Woe. And some color fixing is always good. Okay, get our token off to the side. Yeah, a whole lot of reprints, which I like to see. A bunch of classics. Genesis Wave. Speaking of classics, triple green and X reveal the top X cards of your library. They put any number of permanent cards with mana value X or less from among them onto the battlefield, and put all cards revealed this way that weren't put onto the battlefield into your graveyard. Alright, and another dual land. So with these lands, maybe you can play 3 colors. Typically I like to stick to 2, but if you open like a crazy bomb or you want to play some good removal, then it can always be good to splash a 3rd color for that. Oops. Ooh, Tatiova. Sanguinate. Oh, there's some sweet cards. Ooh, Soulstone Sanctuary. Kind of a new Stalking Stones kind of card. I think that's the old version. So you pay 4 and it becomes a 3/3 with Vigilance and all creature types. And you only ever have to do that once. So as soon as you do it, it's a creature forever. No. Ooh, Vampire Nighthawk's back. Whoa, that's pretty cool looking. Kaikar Zephyr Awakener. Flying. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, choose one. Exile another target creature you control and return it at the beginning of the next end step, or make a 1/1 spirit with flying. Interesting. We get a little full art land and a token. Get these sorted. Seeing a bunch of cards from old standards that I've played. Ooh, Blasphemous Edict. 2 of those. Wow, that might be we might be playing black. We got 2 board wipes. First Lightning is one of my favorite reprints. Love that card. Scavenging Ooze is back. Whoa. Well, we got Progenitus. Not too sure we'll be casting this one, but pretty cool card to open. Blanchwood Armor, and that is all of our boosters. Take these basics out. Okay, so now I like to take another look through, see kind of what my big rares were, or if there's any kind of gold uncommons you can build around. Like we got two white-blue cards. One of them is my rare. So I'm going to keep this card in mind. We got Genesis Wave, Scavenging Ooze, two rares that are kind of okay. Maybe if I play some kind of ramp deck, I might want the Genesis Wave, but not really a card that I'm looking to super build around, especially since it's triple green. Yeah, a lot of green symbols. Now we do have two of these Blasphemous Edicts. So, kind of like Blasphemous Act, if there are 13 or more creatures on the battlefield. So not quite as good where Blasphemous Act gets discounted for each creature. This one, you kind of have to hit the threshold of 13, but still, 5 mana board wipe is already pretty good. At least it doesn't cost 9. Not much in the way of blue. No blue rares, at least, other than our gold Kai card there. And we have a white rare here, Crystal Barricade. And alright, so now that I've taken a note of kind of what my good rares are, mostly these, not the Progenitus, but alright, so then I like to look how deep each color is. So that just means kind of when you're going through, do I have 20 red cards and only like 5 blue cards, that kind of thing. So you typically want to play your deeper pool just because there's a better chance of you having more playable cards. So let's just quickly count how much of each I got. 13 white cards, 13 blue cards, 14 black cards, only 11 red, 17 green cards. So green is my deepest pool, but the rares are a little lackluster, kind of. I can try and look and see if there's any like really good uncommons or commons that I think are just really powerful on their own. If I have a lot of those, it might just be worth playing a green deck. Yeah, so this is good if I want to play the red-green deck, which is just big creatures. Ambush Wolf, cheap green big creature. Some green removal. Reclamation Sage can be good sometimes. Some ramp. More spiders. Now this card's pretty good. Morbid. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, put 2 counters on target creature you control. It's good in kind of any, like a black-green deck that would be good in, or even the red-green deck, just because it's just a big dinosaur. Bushwhack. Potential removal, also good for fixing. Some more removal. Okay, so we have some interesting things in green. I think it's unlikely we play red, since it's the color we have the least of. But if your red cards are good enough, then it might be worth it. Some removal. Yeah, nothing crazy there. And let's see. Pretty good. Okay, black cards look pretty okay, and it's got our two really good rares. So I think we can try building a black-green deck. Let's take a look at that. So I'll put the other cards aside that I'm not going to be using. Take a look at our artifacts, see if there's anything really pops out there. The mana fixing, some equipment, nothing crazy. Okay, so we're going to put aside our white, blue, and red cards. Now, we know we're going to be playing our board wipes because those typically are pretty good in limited, so draft or sealed. It's really powerful to have something to reset the board. And the archetype for green-black is morbid, so we are going to try to make creatures die and get some kind of benefit out of that. So when you're trying to do that, a lot of that's kind of sacrifice stuff. So creatures like this that make another body when they die are really good for that. Card like Arbiter of Woe. He's a 6 mana 5/4 flying. You have to sacrifice a creature to cast it. When it enters, each opponent discards a card and loses 2 life. You draw a card and gain 2 life. So that one is pretty good for this plan. This one is a 3/2 flyer for 5 that can't block. When it enters, you return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So if you're sacrificing a lot of things, this can get some of your stuff back. That's kind of nice. Eaten Alive, that's just really good removal to sacrifice something or pay for extra mana. And then it exiles a creature or planeswalker. So that's pretty nice. Stab, creature gets -2/-2. Another disfigure type card. Not sure if we want Exsanguinate or not. Interesting. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. 3 mana 3/2. That could be good. Vampire Nighthawk, All-Star, classic. Let's see, Threshold, this gets 2/1. It's a 2/3 flyer for 4. When it enters mill 3, could play that. Have a Fake Your Own Death, combat trick here. Whenever this creature attacks, each opponent loses 1 and you gain 1. Kind of got some vampire life gain synergies going on. This returns 2 target creatures from your graveyard to your hand, and then you discard a card. So we could add that to the deck later if we need some extra cards we want to play. If we're killing our own creatures, we can get them back. So that kind of plays well with that. We have a 3/3 trample for 3. Whenever another creature you control enters, this gets 1/0. That seems pretty good. Just a good rate with trample. Bite down. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. I think I got 2 of these. So we're going to play both of those. That's really good because usually that kind of card is what's known as a fight, but this one's kind of one-sided. So most fight spells, they pick a creature of yours and a creature of your opponent's, and then they deal damage to each other, but not through combat. So we like to call that fights. But this one, Bushwhack is a perfect example of that. They even use the word fight now. But bite down is one-sided, so your creature doesn't take damage, which is really nice. We got our Morbid Needletooth pack here. Big creature with Morbid. Makes stuff bigger. Let's see. Ambush Wolf. Just a good rate. 3 mana 4/2. Gnarlid Colony. It's a 2 mana 2/2, but it's got Kicker for 3. So if you pay 5, it enters with 2 counters, and each creature with a 1/1 counter has Trample. So that's not bad. Nessian Hornbeetle. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, then this gets bigger every turn. And a card like Broken Wings is interesting. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. So that could be a card you might want to play on your sideboard. Cackling Prowler, 4 mana 4/3 with Ward 2. Morbid at the beginning of your end step. If something died this turn, put a 1/1 counter on it. So that's pretty good. Definitely going to want to play that. Oh, there we go. We didn't have a 4 slot. So we might want maybe another 4 mana card. I guess we want to play our Scavenging Ooze. And we might want to play one of these Treetop Snare Spinners. 4 mana, 1/4 with Reach and Death Touch. You can pay 3 to put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. It's a good mana sink as well. Fill out this 4-drop slot. And we could play Genesis Wave as well if we really want to. So let's see how many cards we have. Typically you want 23 spells and 17 lands. So maybe you want to do 16 lands and 24 spells if you're like a really fast red-white deck. Typically 23, 17. So let's see where we're at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So we're at exactly 23. Now we can kind of pick what cards we really want to add to the deck. I think Genesis Wave might be a little too ambitious. We can't really generate any extra mana, which is kind of what that card would want. That's why that card saw play in Constructed. You just ramp into it ahead of curve and put a bunch of stuff in play, but in Limited, probably not going to work out that way. So I think I would rather play another 4-drop. We'll play this Billowing Shriek Mass. That's what it's called. Just as another kind of threat, another flyer. Just don't want to lose to the blue-white flyer deck, you know. So this is what I would look at maybe playing with this sealed pool. Let me know if you would have built it any differently, and hope you guys have a good pre-release weekend coming up. Till next time.